Hi everyone and welcome to Positively Kimmy. I am Kimmy. If you are new here, welcome. This is a safe space. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. You know I have my mental issues and I fear abandonment more than anything else, so thank you for coming back. I am doing 30 days of palettes and today is day 22. Can you believe we're at 22 already? The palette I'm going to use today is the Viseart, something in French. But I call it my peach palette. You open it like this. This is the cutest packaging, by the way. You open it like this. It has a mirror. And these are beautiful colors for the fall. And believe it or not, we're in, today's September something or other. And it's chilly out. So this is the perfect palette for this, especially with the peach t-shirt. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But I want to talk to you guys about mental health as I'm doing my makeup. My eye look. Let's see, let's get a fluffy brush. Where is my brushes? Where are my brushes at? Where are my brushes at? Sorry, it's just me. Okay, so September is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I believe that a lot of people, including myself, suffer from mental health challenges, for a better word. And we really do struggle. We really do struggle. It doesn't matter if you've been formally diagnosed, whether you have depression, anxiety, panic attacks, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. I mean, there's so many things on the realm of mental health. You might be, I believe, I'm not sure if ADD is considered a mental health challenge or not. I believe it is, but I will have to check that. I'm also going to be linking the suicide prevention hotline in the description box below because I think sometimes we all struggle with whether or not we feel like we need to be here or not, for lack of a better term. And it's not easy. We've had a lot of things going on with COVID, that we've lost a lot of people to that. We lose people every day, and the struggles that people face are real, especially when it comes to whether or not we have enough money, whether or not we have enough food, whether or not we have enough anything. I myself have been diagnosed as having panic attacks, which I've had since I'm 16, and they can be debilitating to the point where I don't want to leave my house. And I've also been diagnosed as having general anxiety disorder. General anxiety disorder. I've also been diagnosed as having general depression, generalized depression. Depression. We'll just put it that way. Which years ago, I would have argued that. I would have said, no, I am not depressed. But things have changed for me this year a lot. And I have gone through a few different things. And one of them sent me into a little bit of a tailspin this year where I lost a little touch with reality and have been formally diagnosed now as being bipolar. Now, bipolar disorder is not always what you think it is. It's not where you have, for some people, for me anyway, this is the way mine manifests. It's not like extreme highs and extreme lows. You're not laughing one minute and crying the next, which for some people that might be it. But for my, in particular, diagnosis, that's not it. In my case, it manifests with, first I hear an auditory hallucination, I guess would be the best word, but I hear music that's not there. I'll hear somebody call my name and there's nobody home, and that's when I know I'm going to have a manic episode. A manic episode does not mean you are up, or low, 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 low. Again, this is just my experience. It's different for everybody. And because of that, I am now on medication, which again might not be for everybody, but for me it is a blessing. And I no longer have those auditory hallucinations, is what they're called. it's a struggle every day when you suffer from more than one mental illness at a time. Things just are harder. A lot of my issues stem from the fact that I am sick most of the time, and I suffer greatly. I just had a surgery from degenerative bone disease. I had pancreatic cancer, which they had to remove the head of my pancreas, so I had what was called Whipple surgery. And that was not easy at the time. My oldest son, who is now 30, was 8 years old, and my youngest was 6, and he's now 28. And I was told, had they not caught it in that amount of time, that I would have been making final arrangements within a 6-month time period. And I have never been so grateful for the fact that my body, I listen to. And I believe everybody knows you know your own body. And because of that, when there's a problem, you know it. You know, even if it doesn't show up on a test result, it might take a while to find something, but you know your own body well enough to know when something's not right. What happened was I woke up in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, and I had a pain in my back and figured, okay, it must be the way I slept. The very next day, I woke up and it felt like somebody put a rod or a pole from my stomach all the way to my from my back all the way to my stomach. And I told my mom. She's like, oh, it sounds like you're having a gallbladder attack. Go to the hospital and have an x-ray, which is what I did. And it turns out that there was a precancerous pancreatic tumor. But I am considered a pancreatic cancer survivor because it was in the stages of turning. So it was about a stage 1, and I'm very lucky to have found it when I did, because usually for pancreatic cancer there are no signs or symptoms. All right, and that's where my anxiety and depression started. My panic attacks happened when I was like 16, and I still get them to this day, where I wasn't able to leave my house. Ever since that diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, can't even say it, I've had about 15 to 20 different surgeries on different parts of my body, one being my stomach because I developed gastroparesis, and I've been in and out of hospitals my whole entire life. I had epilepsy as a child, which I thankfully outgrew. All right, I'm going to do a shimmer now. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, and these things weigh on you, and I'm the type of person that I can get through anything, but when it's over is when I sit there and I think to myself, oh my God, what if this had happened? What if that had happened? And that's where my depression comes in. Now, I heard a quote which I think is absolutely fitting, and it was, depression happens because of your past, something that you've done in your past, and you wish you could have changed the outcome or done something differently. So that's where your depression comes from. Anxiety is you being fearful about the future and what has not happened yet, and everything that could happen, what could go wrong, and that whole thing. And that has helped me immensely, because when I am feeling depressed or down or anything like that, I know that it's because I'm thinking of something that happened in my past that I can't change. You can't change your past, and why give it that much power over you? Now, I know that's not easy for some people. I know that's not easy for some people, and I'm not saying it's easy for me, because it is not. But when you put it like that and you think, okay, so right now I'm anxious because of something that hasn't happened yet, or right now I'm depressed because of something that happened that I can't change, so when you put it like that, it's much easier to cope with. Also, as far as anxiety, depression, bipolar, those are the things I can speak on, and my experiences to them. It's not every day that you feel like, oh my God, I'm hopeless. It can be, but in therapy, I've learned that you're having a bad day, not a bad life. You can be going through something that's, what the hell? That can take months, years, days, hours, whatever, and you can be very anxious about that. And okay, we need to get a new mascara. And you can be very anxious about those things. But if it hasn't happened yet, why are you worrying about what will happen? Could something bad potentially happen? Of course. But could something great come out of that? Absolutely. So I learned in therapy that it's all about perception. Your perception of a situation. Now, you can perceive something as bad, or you can perceive it as good, or you can be indifferent about it, which would be the most awesome thing in the world. And I've also learned that, believe it or not, I am not the most important person in the world. And I'm not that important, where people are out to either, if you're paranoid, I know people who have paranoid delusions, and you're not that important. You know, where you think people are always talking about you or out to get you. Why? Why would they? Unless you've done something bad, and that's a completely whole different video. This mascara we're decluttering this mascara today because there's nothing left in it, and it's all dried up, but it's working, so we're going to keep it for right now. We're going to finish using it. You know, and mental health in this country, we're now just starting to talk about it, which I think is an excellent thing. But as far as people who are institutionalized, we still have a long way to go. We have a long, long way to go, because we don't treat mental illness or people who are mentally ill. Sorry about that. I always do this with my eyebrows. We don't treat people who are mentally ill in this country well, the same way we do not treat people who are overweight well, and it causes a lot of problems. You feel like if you go up to a hospital sometimes, you feel like you're being judged, and you probably are, especially if you are what we call a frequent flyer, and you go up there for medication for your anxiety, and you're labeled a drug seeker, or you're labeled anything. You know, it's like, oh my God, she's having another attack, or he's having another attack. Let's do this. Just give me a minute. And that, for me, is the worst part of any illness, is when you're being labeled something that you are not, because you have an issue that, whether diagnosed or not diagnosed, it's not. Why is this not working? There you go. Okay. And it's hard. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow when you go up to a hospital and you're looking for help. Not drugs, but help. And that might include drugs. I'm not saying that. And there is no judgment here, because I am on prescription medication for everything under the freaking sun at this point. And I don't judge anybody. You know, that just doesn't come with my territory. I'm not going to sit there and judge you for needing help. As a matter of fact, I will be your biggest cheerleader. I will be your biggest advocate. And if you don't have somebody like that in your life, please reach out. I will be more than happy to talk to you, to help you in any way I can, because it's important that everybody has somebody they can go to in order to make it through another day, another hour, another 15 seconds, whatever it might be. So if you're watching this and you are having a mental health crisis, I am going to be leaving an 800 number to a suicide prevention hotline. Please reach out to somebody. If you need to just talk, if you need to yell, if you need to shout, I'm your girl, I got you. This is why I tell you I have abandonment issues at the beginning of every video, because I'm not joking. I used to have nightmares every night for about 4 years consecutively about my whole family being brutally discarded every night. And I learned in therapy that the reason I had those dreams was because, excuse me, I was afraid of losing people that I loved. So every night I would lose them in my sleep, and then I was able to cope with them being there during the day. And it was hard. It was rough. I didn't sleep well. But once I realized that that was the issue, it was easier for me to deal with. And now I haven't had that nightmare, and it was the same nightmare every night, and it was brutal. It was horrible. But now I don't have that nightmare because I know, for me, I was very much a control freak in the fact that I needed to know where everybody was every minute of the day. So I needed to know my mom was here, my sons were there, and then I was fine. Now that my sons are older and move out, I don't have that control where I know where they are every minute of every day. But I did raise them in the hopes that they would be independent men and they would know that I love them. And if they need me, I am here for them, which is great. And that eased my mind. So I know that if they need something, they know they can call their mom. And I will do my best to help them in any way that I can. And therefore, I no longer have nightmares about losing them because I have dealt with that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. If you are struggling, again, please reach out to whoever is in your life. If you feel like there is no one in your life, please DM me, leave a comment, and I will get back to you, I promise. You are not alone. You don't have to face this alone, and we will all get through this together. So with that, I would like you to be safe, be happy, be healthy, and most of all, be positively you. Love you guys.